other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the very same way he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you in my script writing staff. You deny that what I said is true? Mr. Wright, let us say for the sake of argument that Hammer died at the trailer as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio One, was it not? In the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried a body to Studio One and then returned to the trailer, all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break at the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed up the stairs, then carried to Studio One and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with a body? She had another way to deal with the body. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance? Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry the body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. Pix hasn't played this before, fair and well, so she's just following the logic. So, Ms. Vasks, you carried the body to Studio One, and you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so I went to Studio One. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There's a van there, right? I had Sal take me. Well, you're right on track here, Pix. You used a van to carry the body to Studio One. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate's costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Manella was a conspirator? I mean, he needs to be a conspirator, but I guess she has dirt on him as well. Of course Sal Manella has been a conspirator. The body was placed in a van and then put into a costume. There was no way Miss Vask could have done that all alone. Also, don't forget they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Well, Miss Vask, shall I continue? And the music cuts short. No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? So what happens next? Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Uh-huh. I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean Divask? So it was you? You killed Jack Hammer? Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we're just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle? You prove the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only one possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You like decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? What? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts. Of course it's as the witness says. Certainly it does seem very likely she did it, but there is no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you have no more questions, I'll be leaving. Ugh, what do I do now? Yeah, probably divine intervention. Oh, by the way, there are some things, like the small spoiler thing. His past is even worse. Like, you have no idea how right you are on the divine intervention thing. On other things. But I don't think we have a further question because we still had a kid. Yes, Mr. Wright? I was hoping I'd come with a question while pounding my desk. I didn't. You have my sympathies. Damn! To come so far only to fail. It seems that there is no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasks. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. I see. Very well. Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I am your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does it make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I choose a little point in making Miss Vask repeat herself. What did you want to testify about? Well, yes, Indeed, verily I say, ergo. I want to hear what happened after they found the body. Okay. Huh? It's kind of like that, yes, Bix. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth? Who knows? He probably realized that she did it too. But wasn't he the one? Wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that, Edgeworth. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police. Then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying, "He did it!" I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close, real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Oh, my throat is getting sore, but we're on the last stretch here. I was with, let's do this. Apparently so, Mina. What time was that? We were to meet at for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was them. When exactly did you and Mr. Manella arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Let's press her a little bit. Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put hammers into that costume with someone else's help. Well, what did I just say? Didn't I just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes? You should try to listen to what people say. That's what people are saying, boy. Boy! The witness will continue her testimony. Miss Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go call to him? Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us, yet to expect me to be calm? You certainly seemed calm enough when I called you accusing you of murder. Wait a second, wouldn't it be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered the murdered body and the person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasks, logically speaking, perhaps. But no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his steel samurai costume, Powers doesn't really stand out. We often left him on the bus at the shooting location. No one noticed he was missing. Poor Powers. I suppose that explains that then. Well, Miss Vasquez, you may continue. What was everyone else doing at the time? No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. So I stood there until Powers finally arrived at the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then, silence. Dead silence. Silence. Hey, Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Hold back. Security lady? Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? She said because you saw him going towards the studio. Right, the Steel Samurai. Did the detective arrest Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seemed to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. Okay, I need to get some water. It's just death on my throat right now, so just a second. No. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, the meme factor, the meme factor. What? You asked to be left out? Yes. It seemed that everyone else was being questioned, and I'm not really fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police and will not question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that. Since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you? Or covered up for you? There must have been a lot of writing on it, with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. Yep, just mafia. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. Wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Hey! 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 Oh yeah, I guess. Very well, Miss Flasks. Your Honor! I have an objection to the witness' last statement. Huh? Think! Miss Vask just said didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what this means? She would have to know about the murder before going to Studio One. Order! Order! Mr. Edgeworth! What you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasks, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. Wait a minute. Was she at that rehearsal? No, the I mean, how did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal, he told me. Sal, director? You had to find something to peg her on there. Or everything we've done till now would have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. Okay, so... Wait a minute, Hammer, Dur. I'm dumb. Never mind, I'm just like autopiloted. Let's see. It's Powers that was injured, not Hammer. So that'll be this one, I guess. You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was a Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo, but that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why do you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right, he must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was on the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasks. You actually didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but was it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. Oh, he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Oh. And when was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2 where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasks, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order! Order! I will have order! I should really just make a sound box for that whenever the judge says order. And we'll have order. Witness! Can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's try to sneak your way out of this one, Vasks. Very well. I have a question for you. Ugh. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he had fallen hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there's a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on this matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? So we actually can't really prove that she has a motive apart from this thing here. We have no mafia proof. So we actually don't have a motive for right now. I mean, I know why, but we can't prove it. Nick, no! Say you can't prove it now, would admitting defeat. She'll get away, but what proof can I possibly have? I don't care if it's impossible, you have to fight on this one. Ugh, okay. I have proof and I'll show it to you. I present to you the court of her evidence. Yeah, so, I mean, this is the logical conclusion. So, let's see. So, the motive is... There are two things. It's either this one or this one. Actually, it's this one. On this modifier. Psst, Maya, look. This is it. Or maybe it's not. Why are you showing that to me, Nick? And why are you whispering? I was just testing it out on you. Well, I'm afraid your results are negative. Mr. Wright, yes, Your Honor. Hurry up with it. We have a certain tempo to maintain here. Yeah, it'll be the old one then. I mean, I'm thinking just because he's disguised. This is my proof. This is the old photo from before. This is the photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With the Vasquez' help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the cursed case currently up for trial. It began on that day 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated on Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, Devask, used Miss Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was for a constant source of shame for the X-Star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, yet you have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It is almost as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed the Vasks, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasks have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I would never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright, please explain the motive for murder. Okay. Allow me to present the court evidence proving the Vask's motive. And now it'll be the old photo. Considering like he is disguised and stuff. So it's more like self-defense in a way. This is my proof, and this tells us why I'd say it'll prove that defense attorney has completely lost his marbles. Okay, I guess it's wrong. Yep. Which is the other one then? I mean... let's see... Self-defense is not a motive, I guess. Doesn't count like that, I guess. She had no motive, Your Honor. What is it now? It was Master Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vask did was push him out of the stairs in self-defense. What is that now? I guess. I mean... I do, because when playing these games, I mean, sure, I don't remember all the details, and I'm actually not making, like, doing things by accident here. I am actually pressing the wrong things because I don't remember, and reaching the wrong conclusions, stuff like that. I just remember, like, the overarching stories, but I do like having some interaction, especially with these kinds of games. It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasks. What? What? Your Honor, Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the steel samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady thinking he was Powers. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. Fair enough, fair and well. For what purpose, you ask? To kill the Vasks who had so cruelly taken advantage of him for years. Snap. So you did do it, didn't you? Yes. I'm guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance! There's blood everywhere! We're too late! Ah! Vasks! Miss Vasks, what happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel! Miss Vask, please try to remain calm. No. How could this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No! Manuel! Don't touch him, Miss Vasks. No! Please don't die. Please. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose. Again. Mr. Edgeworth, where is Div asks. In the waiting room lobby, Your Honor, as calm as collected as ever. I